All right, let's hope that it worked today. Starting soon. But did it start? We don't know. Oh my god, I think it started. Oh my god, it started like instantly this time. It's a miracle. Praise be the Substack gods. And there's people joining. Not that I see them in the chat yet, but what's up with that?
Praise be.
Well, it says people are joining the chat, but it says people are watching. I don't see anyone in the chat yet. Let's see. Let's say hello. Ah, there we are. People. Ta-da. Damn, it's almost like there were people in the chat before I was. Ta-da!
So how's everybody doing today? We all good?
Does appear it. Oh, Patrick's here. Hi, Patrick.
I was going to start homeschooling on the 3rd, and then I looked at my schedule and realized that I have the cancer center all that week.
Ugh.
So I'm going to have to push it back.
Oh, that's right. You guys are in Florida. You start super early. Forgot about that. How hideous.
Yeah. I was going to I wanted to start in like July, but I feel like he wouldn't be in the right mindset, so I'm going to try to keep it as close to the regular school year as I can.
Hey, if you start in July, when would you end? May?
No, I would end in April.
Ah, how hideous.
I ended his school year in April, at the end of April this time, because he already knew everything for first grade.
What a nerd. Gosh.
And we'd been doing second grade for a month at that point, and he knew everything in the beginning of second grade too. So he was only doing classwork for like 40 minutes a day. I was like, there's no point in this. It's like, let me regroup and see how I'm gonna better serve you.
Nerd. Oh, whatever.
He's something that one. All right, I think we're gonna need to start just even with 24 people because we have to get this out of the way today.
We do, because some of us have to do the editing all by ourselves.
That's okay, because I'll be at Moffat, so
yeah. Anastasia's having a friend come over tonight, and we're making tempura, sweet potatoes, and green beans, and other vegetables, and blah blah blah. And tomorrow we're going to the beach. So,
are you only going to be at the beach for one day?
Yeah, no, this is like just a day trip.
Oh,
we're going to a regular beach. We're going to North Beach.
What is that, the bay?
Yeah, so it's the safe beach. It's the one we've been taking Jordan to for years because he can't drown there. The beach only goes up to his waist.
Have you gone over the Chesapeake Bay Tunnel Bridge yet? Not the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is the one with like the metal things on the top, but like the tunnel bridge where you go under the water.
Maybe. I honestly do not know.
Oh, you should just take a drive there one day.
Is that like the really long one?
It's really long, and you know, I'm sure you're used to tunnels because of the Lincoln Tunnel and all of that stuff, but these tunnels are very long, and then you come up on bridges in the middle of the bay, and then you go back down into a tunnel.
I know about that, but I don't think I have.
It is wild. And then there's like a little state park after it, which I've been to. That's fun.
Yeah, no, that's not ringing a bell for me.
Alrighty. Well, let's get started.
All right. You done yawning? Am I done boring you? Gosh.
Probably. Did I yawn?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, I'm done.
Wait, did me mentioning that you're yawning made you yawn again? Jesus.
Yeah, at least I'm not a sociopath.
All right. Let us start. This. Oh, wait. Okay, yep. Okay. This is the Opinionated Ogre Podcast, your weekly rampage through current events with a little snark, a bit of foul language, and a lot of strong opinions. There are new episodes every Thursday, and they're not safe for work or polite company of any kind whatsoever. I am your podcast host, the Opinionated Ogre, and this is my co-host, Florida Woman. Hello, Florida Woman.
Hello.
Are you excited about American troops getting hopped up on testosterone and going sterile because Pete Hegseth is a moron who actually believes all the stupid shit he reads on the internet?
All I could think about was people. There's this Lifetime movie from a long time ago, and the husband was doing a lot of testosterone, and then he beat her to death.
Great. Personally, I'm all in favor of this. It's natural self-selection. They're going to shrink their testicles and bleach the gene pool. They're just going to sterilize themselves, and it's going to be great. It's going to make America great again because they won't be able to reproduce.
Well, my question is, are they going to have an option as to whether or not they want to take it?
Oh yeah, no, it's not mandatory. Oh my God, are you kidding me? For the people who say vaccinations can't be mandatory, they're going to make testosterone mandatory.
That would be hilarious.
That would be insane.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't put it past them because we live in the stupidest timeline.
We do.
So,
for fuck's sakes! All right, this is the recording for July 23rd, 2026, and we have a lot to get to on episode 106 of the Og Pod. Are we ready to do this?
No, yes.
Well, we're doing it anyway, so let's get to it. It's time for the Ogre Nation News Update.
Roar.
Roar!
So, Trump addressed the nation last week, and it was every bit as stupid as we expected. During his primetime address, he claimed that the Chinese interfered in the 2020 election and that it was covered up by the quote-unquote deep state. But remember, he was the deep state in 2020, and there's no evidence that China interfered. Not that that's ever stopped him before.
It's only the deep state when other people do it.
Right, exactly. He specifically mentioned China having American election data, and we all know that China has our data. I joke about it all the time. And specifically data that's publicly available. But there's no proof that they used it to interfere in the 2020 election. Also, Trump didn't give a single fuck about our data in 2016 when Cambridge Analytica harvested Facebook data from over 50 million Americans to create psych profiles on them to deliver targeted ads meant to sway them to vote for him. Trump also didn't care that Russia bought hundreds of thousands of dollars in Facebook ads in 2016 to push pro-Trump propaganda that was also highly targeted, suspiciously so. They literally paid in, how do you say, rubles?
Rubles.
They literally paid in rubles. They didn't even bother disguising what they were doing, but it was all a hoax, right? Just a hoax.
Just ask Matt Taibbi and Glenn Greenwald.
Yeah, and as we always say, every accusation is a confession. Trump also claimed, quote, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure. Two things here. First, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, under Trump 1, said, and I quote, the November 3rd election was the most secure in American history. And, quote, there is no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised. Well, that sure is uncomfortable for him.
I know. It's almost like his own people were telling him he was lying.
And if you recall, when they released that statement, the guy who was in charge of CISA was like fired or something. He was he targeted for retaliation.
Yeah, he wasn't towing the company line.
Second, the government has warned about election vulnerabilities for years, but when Trump won in 2016, he called all of those concerns a hoax. Nothing to see here, folks. And he mocks it constantly when he says, Russia, Russia, Russia. This is from Politico. As predictably crazy as his address was, reporting indicates we actually got the toned down version. Politico report. Oh, maybe this wasn't Politico. Who did I take this from?
Um,
Ah, fuck it.
yeah, sorry.
Politico reported acting director of national intelligence Bill Pulte wanted to reveal the names of intelligence officials the regime claimed had kept quote election interference proof from Trump, but Trump's team, including Susie Wiles, freaked out about the possibility of putting intelligence officials' life at risk. Oh, this was mine. I'm so sorry because you're gonna have to edit that out. This was my
Oh,
note.
you wrote that. You put in italics.
I think that I just did that unintentionally. I'm gonna read that over again so you can just delete that whole block.
Okay.
So, as predictably crazy as his address was, reporting indicates that we actually got the toned down version, which is not shocking at all. Politico reported that acting director of national intelligence Bill Pulte wanted to reveal the names of intelligence officials the regime claimed had kept, quote, election interference proof from Trump, but Trump's team, including Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, freaked out about the possibility of putting intelligence officials' lives at risk. Which, thank God, right?
Jesus fucking Christ. I swear, these fucking people. And honestly, the only reason that Trump didn't say it is because he didn't know their names off the top of his head. Otherwise, he definitely would have blurted it out.
Oh, I'm sure he would have. And this is from the Politico report. Quote, Pulte got really scared by the whole thing and pulled back, said one of two senior officials. Quote, he got POTUS all spun up and then was incredibly scared when he realized that people could die with his reckless behavior. Simultaneously, several Trump officials urged the president to remain restrained and on script, a notoriously difficult task for the president, whose aides often learn what the president is going to say as he says it. Quote, they explained the way to be taken seriously is not to be crazy.
I
The
mean, wow, this is the fucking world we live in.
the combination of a full court press from some aides and Pulte's retreat convinced the president to stay, quote, on the rails, as a senior official put it.
Now, here's a fun fact about all of this. Trump, while he was rambling and babbling, he was screaming that he had declassified a bunch of documents that prove that China tampered with our elections. Now, they're still heavily redacted, of course, because he doesn't want people to see everything that's in there, because what's in there is really, really bad for Trump. But what you can see in those documents that he very stupidly redacted do prove that the elections were, in fact, tampered with by Russia on behalf of Trump, because Trump is so fucking stupid. He literally declassified more evidence proving he's a Russian puppet. And I'll be waiting for my apology from Matt Taibbi and Glenn Greenwald. It's all a hoax. It's all been a hoax the whole time, which I'm sure will be coming any second now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. Absolutely. That's going to happen. No, it's not. That's never going to fucking happen. All right. Now, let us move on to our next story. As we roll into the 5th month of Trump's 2 weeks war, the Iran war is deeply, deeply unpopular with the American people. Surprise! We've talked about this a lot on this show because it's still going on. The greatest military genius in American history launched an attack without any kind of plan other than blow things up for the cameras. There was no long-term goal other than topple the government and hope for the best. There was zero thought about how to end this war because it was assumed a new government would take place, or would take over and bend the knee. So why bother planning for an exit strategy if things went sideways? We're America. We never lose, except for, Vietnam and Korea and Iraq and Afghanistan. But, America. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Everyone who's serious about keeping Americans alive told Trump this was a really stupid idea. Even JD fucking Vance said this was a stupid idea before he let himself become the face of a doomed negotiation. Actually, he didn't let himself, he didn't have a choice, but
No, yeah, he was forced.
boo-hoo for him. Now, it should be noted that when Secretary of Defense list Pete Hegseth was being raked over the coals by Congress for why he was so fucking bad at his job that he was losing a war to a third-rate military and needed billions of dollars more to keep losing, the best answer he could come up with was blaming Joe Biden. He really did that. That's a thing that happened. So now we're back at full-scale war just to get back to the status quo and trying to get the Strait of Hormuz open again and failing to do that. And now the Houthis are threatening to close the Red Sea, which would be a
Oof.
huge blow to international commerce and even more of an energy crunch because a lot of oil goes through that area too. Now, it's weird. So, like last year, when the Houthis started attacking Israel, I wrote an article. Actually, it might have been more than a year ago at this point. I'd have to check. A lot of people on the alt left were cheering for the Houthis, which I thought was disgusting because the Houthis are slavers and they are pedophiles.
We talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, and it was like you can't cheer for them. You can't. They're bad people. They're absolutely horrible fucking people. And just because they're fighting Israel does not make them the good guys. And here will be the same thing. There's going to be people who are saying it's like, well, they're opposing the American empire, blah, blah, blah. They're still bad people. It's entirely possible to have two sides in a fight where there are no good guys. This would be another one of those situations. We're not the good guys here, and neither are the Houthis. Do not fucking side with the Houthis because you hate Trump. They're slavers and they rape children. Don't do that. Just an FYI. All right. Now, so while this is happening, Iran is starting to blow up critical infrastructure all across the Gulf region again because this is the thing that they threaten to do. If you attack them, they're going to blow up, refineries and pumps and oil pumping stations, and it's not their trump card. That's their threat. If you attack them, they're going to cripple all of the energy infrastructure in the Gulf region, which will ensure an energy crisis for years to come if this continues. As that's also happening, The Economist reported that the war has a net approval rating of minus 30%. To put that in perspective, it took the Vietnam War 6 years to get to that point. This war is not even 6 months old yet. Americans hate this war for its devastating economic impact, which is going to get worse now because oil prices are going up and so is the price of gas. We also hate it for the stop getting us into fucking idiotic forever war thing. We're all very tired of that after 20 years of it. And now there's another reason that we're all going to be starting to get really pissed off. The Pentagon has been concealing the number of American service members getting injured in the conflict. This is from the New York fucking Times. Quote, in the week leading up to the Iranian attack on Friday that killed 2 U.S. soldiers and left 1 service member missing in Jordan, Iran carried out 3 other strikes against U.S. forces in the country. Those attacks injured dozens of U.S. service members and damaged several helicopters, according to several U.S. officials who spoke under condition of anonymity to discuss operational matters. But the Pentagon did not disclose the early strikes nor the casualties and damages they inflicted. Another service member was killed shortly after the New York Times article was written, meaning that More than 400 service members have been injured, and so far, 17 have died in the war that has been raging for less than 5 months. The Pentagon used to release the number of troops who were injured and killed, even if they returned to duty. Well, not the killed ones, obviously, but officials have stopped updating those numbers because transparency. U.S. military officials hit back at the reports and claimed the Pentagon was not obligated to tell the American people about injuries, especially if those service members could go back to the field quickly. They also alleged that reporting injuries could actually endanger troops because the Iranians would know where they should launch their attack. So, our response, our official response here at the Ockpod is, fuck you! That's a whole lot of bullshit. The government released those figures for fucking decades when we were fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq. But we're supposed to believe that suddenly it's a threat to service members. No, absolutely fucking not. These are the people who tell us with a straight face they're the most transparent administration in history. And remember, because take a step back in time, these are the same fucking people. Republicans screamed bloody murder about Obama and Biden being secretive, and the press went along with it for years. One of the podcasts I listen to, the Professional Left podcast, they talk about this all the fucking time. In 2009, just a few months after Barack Obama was sworn in, a woman named Michelle Malkin, remember Michelle Malkin? She published a book called Culture of Corruption about how secretive and corrupt the Obama administration was. She started writing this book before he was even president. And the legacy press ate it up. The same legacy press that ate that bullshit up. It was obviously bullshit. It's like you can't have a corrupt administration if you don't have an administration yet. But they were like, oh my God, oh, he's so corrupt, and we have to talk about this. That same legacy press is right now pretending that all this bullshit that the Trump regime is doing is totally fucking normal. That's because Republicans are not held to a lower standard. They're held to no fucking standard at all. When a Democratic president is back in power in 2029, every military official involved with following these corrupt orders must be fucking fired. They had a choice to do the right thing, and they chose wrong. Pete Hegseth is poisoning the Pentagon, and that rot cannot be allowed to fester. It all has to fucking be purged, just like it did do on the Supreme Court. All that fucking rot has to be fucking purged, and the rule of law has to be restored. We cannot fucking continue. And I know the press and the right are going to be like, oh my God, it's political persecution. No. All the shit they're doing right now to the military, where they're firing all the black not officials, all the black officers and all the women, that's political fucking persecution. That's being done for ideology. All these fucking people who are doing shit they know is wrong because they're putting fucking ideology before the fucking country, those are the people who have to be fucking removed. And it's not because of politics. It's because they are shitting on everything this country and the military is supposed to stand for. And when they cry about it, boo fucking who? You knew better and you did it anyway. Now go fuck off.
Wow, I love when you get to ranting.
Rawr.
So we're going to move on now to something that I just love to talk about. We now know more about the ICE agent who murdered 25-year-old Juan Sebastian Duran Guerrero in Maine. Not because DHS bothered to give the public any information, but because the man's exes have come forward and his daughter, one of his daughters. The agent has been identified as David. Help me out here.
Brulette, I think it was. I heard it.
Okay. Well, he's an Army veteran with a history of racist, violent behavior. Family of the killer says that he struggled with mental health problems since childhood. and that he should have never been hired by a law enforcement agency to carry a gun through the streets.
And yet he was.
Yeah, right. Shocking. One person shared a voicemail with the Associated Press where the agent told a woman that someone should slit her throat. Wonderful. Glad that he's a nice agent. Seems real stable genius. His ex-wife Ashley told the media that she didn't believe him when he told her last year that he'd been hired by ICE because she couldn't believe that a law enforcement agency would hire somebody that had such a severe mental illness. It wasn't until she saw the videos online of the aftermath of Guerrero's death that she realized that he was telling the truth. Ashley and his daughter Madison, who I believe is 18, said that he called them and confirmed that he killed the Colombian national. Ashley said that her ex asked her to lie about his character in the press and wanted her to keep the domestic violence in their relationship a secret. See, she divorced him in 2009 after she got pregnant and he started beating her, which takes a real nasty human being to start beating somebody when they get pregnant. I mean, beating somebody all the time, but would you say what a man?
What a manly man.
Pete Hegseth would probably want to give him testosterone.
Well, you got to make sure he keeps up that level of violence against the enemy.
He even threw boiling water at her while she was holding baby Madison.
I gotta say, when you sent me this video on TikTok, right? You sent that in a
DM. Of her talking.
When I saw that, my first reaction was, this cannot fucking be real. Like, this can't be a real. Not that was like, I didn't think it was AI, but I didn't think it was the real person talking about that person, about this guy. I was like, this can't be real. This has to be bullshit. Because, this was my actual thought process. There's no fucking way they would put this guy in law enforcement and give him a fucking gun and badge. There's no fucking way. Like, this would show up in even the most bullshit cursory vetting process, and they'd be like, yeah, no, we can't give this fucking guy a gun. There's no fucking way we would give this guy a gun. And then I poked around and it was like, nope, there it is in the fucking news. This is a real thing. He really fucking did this, and they still gave him a fucking gun. It was like, oh my God, what is wrong with these people that they would fucking do this? Are they fucking crazy? It was like, oh wait, it's ICE. What am I thinking?
Yeah, I too did not believe it when I first saw it, but I don't know why I was surprised. So not only did he beat his first ex-wife, but court records show that he abused his second ex-wife, Lucinda, as well. She also had children with him, and she wrote a statement that I'm going to read in its entirety because I think that she deserves it. So just give me 1 second. Ordinarily, we wouldn't read such a long statement, but I just want you guys to understand how fucking deplorable these people are.
Oh my God, you can't call them deplorable. That's terrible. That's just that's so uncalled for. You're tearing this country apart.
Hold on. I gotta mute myself. Sorry, guys. I'm dealing with Florida pollen or something. I don't know. So the statement begins, "Good morning. My name is Lucinda. This is my response to your questions regarding my experience or knowledge of my ex-husband, David Brulette. Before anything else, I want to express my deepest condolences to the victims, their loved ones, and every person whose life has been forever changed by this tragedy. My heart is with all of those who are grieving. For several days, I have watched these events unfold alongside the rest of the country. I have intentionally been careful not to speculate about the incident itself. I was not there. I do not know exactly what happened, and I believe the facts should be determined by investigators and the justice system, not by public opinion. What I can speak to is my own experience. If you were to ask me whether I believe David Brulette is capable of this level of violence, my answer is unequivocally yes. That belief is not based on speculation, but on my own lived experiences over many years. Throughout our marriage and in the years that followed, I have feared for a long time that his anger, aggression, and escalating behavior would eventually result in severe life-threatening violence. And I often believed that I would be on the end of I would be the one on the receiving end of it. I was married to David Brulette through his entire military career. During those years, and for many years after our marriage ended, I experienced a persistent pattern of abuse, intimidation, manipulation, fear, and control. On multiple occasions, David's physical abuse was witnessed by friends and family. The emotional, psychological, and physical scars of those experiences have remained with me long after our marriage has ended. One of the most difficult aspects of that relationship was fear of retaliation. Throughout our marriage and long afterward, I believe that whenever I spoke up, challenged him, or sought help, there would be consequences. That fear influenced countless decisions I made, including when and how I reported what I was experiencing. Even now, I fear spreading the truth of my experiences will lead to retaliation. David often spoke to me about his military intelligence background and the specialized skills he believed it gave him. He frequently portrayed himself as someone who could manipulate people, deceive others, and stay in control of difficult situations. Whether those statements reflected reality or were intended to intimidate me, they contributed to an environment of fear that made it harder to believe I could safely stand up to him. Throughout the years, I brought my concerns to law enforcement, the courts, and the Department of Health and Human Services. I tried to explain what I believed was a long pattern of abuse, intimidation, manipulation, and controlling behavior because I genuinely feared where those behaviors could lead. From my perspective, those warnings did not receive the attention I believed they deserved. Feeling unheard while I continued to fear retaliation was one of the most isolating experiences of my life. The concerns I describe here are not new. They were raised over many years through family court proceedings, reports to law enforcement. Wait, did I just read that part? Oh no.
I
Sorry, no I didn't. The concerns I described here are not new. They were raised over many years through family court proceedings, reports to law enforcement, and communications with the Department of Health and Human Services. Those proceedings spanned years and are matters of public record. My purpose in making this statement is not to relitigate those proceedings, but to explain my own experience and why I carried those concerns for so long. Sorry, guys, we're almost done. For many years, I questioned whether anyone would believe what I had experienced. Seeing others with firsthand knowledge now come forward publicly has been deeply validating. While I cannot speak for anyone else's experiences, hearing similar accounts has reinforced that I was not alone in what I experienced. This statement is not about speculating on the events currently under investigation or influencing the outcome of any criminal case. It is about sharing my own lived experience and explaining why I carried those concerns for many years. And then she goes on to talk about her family. So I just want to point out that all they had to do was look at police records for 3 seconds and they would have found out that he was a violent offender. But they did nothing, and they're still protecting him. Homeland Security was asked about this, and they responded, "We will never confirm or deny attempts to dox our law enforcement officers."
and that's
And
not doxing.
that's not doxing. Doxing is when somebody threatened to kill my children because I was posting on Substack, and then they put my old address on there.
Yeah, doxing is when you put their address with the specific intent of people going to look for them. Law enforcement officials are public. You get to know their name. You don't get to disappear them when they kill somebody and then say, "Well, we're protecting them." It's like, no, they don't get to be protected from that sort of thing. They have to face public scrutiny when they kill people, especially if they have a history of violence.
Right. And Homeland Security said the ICE officer in question has nearly a decade of federal law enforcement experience, with required training, including use of force training. And apparently had a decade of abusing his wives too,
Right,
at the
which
very
which
least.
begs the question: how did this piece of shit ever pass the vetting process? Was he even vetted?
I don't To
I
be
don't,
honest with you, I don't think they care. I think they want violent criminals.
and that's the question, right? What is the vetting process? Is what is like? I want to know what was the vetting process. He has so many obvious red flags that if they vetted him and they saw that this was in his past, he should not have been able to get a job as a mall security guard because he's so fucking violent and deranged. But if they vetted him and they saw this and then they gave him a badge and a gun anyway, that says they wanted someone with this kind of background. And that means his abusive past is considered a feature, not a bug. And if that's the case, then someone has to be held accountable, not just Brulette. So, like that means they're looking for violent people to put on the street, and that's a problem. That's something that's being done deliberately. And if that's the case, there's a paper trail saying look for people with a violent past.
Yeah, and I just want to applaud his ex-wives and at least one of his children for coming forward, because it sounds like they tried to for years when they were married to him and nobody believed them. And now that he's killed somebody, it's like their worst fears coming true. And they're probably feeling a lot of guilt because they're relieved that it's not them that
And I'm
died.
sure they're going to be targeted now. I'm sure Magaland is going to come after them. And I'm
Oh,
sure the Manosphere is going to be targeting them with threats of violence because, of
100%.
course, they are. All right, let us move on to headlines for short attention spans. Just a quickie here. If you'd like to throw us a small tip, the QR codes for both PayPal and Venmo are up on the screen. Or, well, they were supposed to be up on the screen. They are. Nope. Okay, let's try it again. Yes, we have no sponsors or advertisers and probably never will, so we appreciate anything you can send our way. So, once again, headlines for short attention spans. Barron Trump's buddies, Andrew and Tristan Tate, were arrested by federal authorities in Miami over the weekend. The women hating manosphere influencers are awaiting their extradition to the UK. Newly unsealed court filings detailed the sex trafficking and rape allegations against the men in Britain. They are accused of choking several women to the point that they sometimes passed out, raping them, and physically abusing them on top of the choking part. There are 59 charges between the two men. Now, there's more to it because, of course, there is. British prosecutors released a statement saying that Andrew, specifically, I don't think anything about Tristan, but he's also facing charges related to, quote, indecent images of a child and extreme pornography because, of course, he's a fucking pedophile. But of course he is. What a
Mhm.
shock. Oh my goodness. I didn't see that coming a mile away. The brothers have denied the allegations and appealed to Trump and his children because they're friends with with Trump's kids to step in and stop their extraditions. Prosecutors say that they have electronic messages, wireless statements, and photographs to support their charges. Now, the last time the pedophile rapists were in trouble, that time was in Romania, the regime stepped in to save them, flying them to the U.S. And when I wrote this note, we were working on these notes, I said it was not clear that the Trump regime was going to go to bat for the brothers again because shielding pedophiles from justice in the UK during an election year is going to make the manosphere happy, but really piss off everyone else, including a lot of MAGA who are still mad about the Epstein files. And turns out that I was right about that because yesterday the news came down that the regime is in fact not stepping in to protect the fucking pedophiles this
Oh,
time.
yeah. I knew that wasn't gonna happen. There was no way that he'd be able to get away with that.
Yep, they helped him out last time quietly, but this time they were like, yeah, no, they have fucking evidence, they have pictures. We're not stepping in that. Not now. There's the Epstein file thing and the election is too fucking close. There's no fucking way Trump is going to bat for a fucking pedophile. So they were like, sorry guys, you're on your fucking own. And this makes me very, very fucking happy because Tate is on my fucking death party watch list. And while he's not dead, he's going to go to jail for fucking decades. And that's good enough. So when he gets convicted and they hand down, 30 to 40 years, and then they send him, they're also going to fucking extradite him to Romania where he's going to stand trial for his crimes there. I'm going to get very fucking drunk. Looking forward to it.
Also, in case you missed it, Andrew Tate was arrested in an outfit that could be charitably described as something your divorced middle-aged aunt would wear while she was day drinking with her book club. It was like a weird purple top or fuchsia top that was like kind of unbuttoned and like pleather baggy pants and
Just
that were like not even all, they weren't even long, they were like half pants.
And he was wearing like flats that were just like no
Yeah,
socks.
and he was wearing like loafers with like no socks, and I looked at him and I was like, really, this is who they think is a real man, this guy.
Oh, however,
How
while he
embarrassing.
was getting arrested, they had to wait while his assistant took the time to take a heavy duty, thick, expensive chain off his neck, because of course you take the time to let that taken care of, because he's wealthy and he's white, well, half white, but you take the time. If he'd been a black guy with a chain, they just would have knocked him out, taken the chain, and sold it. The cops would have just
Right.
confiscated it. But
They would have confiscated it and said that it was
what is it? What's it? What
purchased using ill-gotten funds.
Yeah, exactly. But Andrew Tate gets slightly special treatment. So
right,
whatever.
Right. Well, anyway, earlier this year, the regime announced that it was forcing its bigotry and forced birth agenda on foreign nations. Yay! They rolled out new rules prohibiting NGOs, UN nations, and foreign governments receiving U.S. aid if they promote access to gender-affirming care, abortion, or even diversity initiatives, because diversity is bad. This was a huge blow to African nations that heavily rely on foreign aid for their healthcare, especially when it comes to maternal medicine, where sub-Saharan Africa has both the fastest growing population and about 180,000 pregnancy-related deaths annually, which is massive. Decades ago, a group of African nations declared safe abortions a human right in an attempt to cut down on the number of illegal procedures taking place. Still, there are about 6 million unsafe abortions in sub-Saharan Africa each year. Yeah. American pro-birth groups and Trump are now trying to get the abortion agreement in nations rolled back because... Hold on one second, guys. It's up there.
Hi, Nathan.
Just take it in the bedroom, please. Sorry, guys. I have a little tiny human being who needs a charger for his Minecraft obsession. Bye. Okay, so decades ago, a group of African nations declared safe abortions a human right in an attempt to cut down on the number of illegal procedures taking place. Still, there are about 6 million unsafe abortions in sub-Saharan Africa each year, which is just wild to think about. American pro-birth groups and Trump are now trying to get the abortion agreement in those nations rolled back in return for healthcare aid that they desperately need.
And let's be honest, it's not Trump. He doesn't care, and he doesn't know anything about it.
No, he's probably paid many abortions in his time.
Yeah, this is just the religious fanatics in his administration, or his regime, pandering to the evangelicals. He doesn't care. If someone walked up to him, if a reporter walked up to him today and said, "So, about the abortions in sub-Saharan Africa," he'd be like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
He'd be like, "Where's sub-Saharan Africa?"
Yeah, he would not know what they were talking about. He has nothing to do with this. He just signed a piece of paper they put in front of him.
While they explained to him what it was. as
They
you're
probably
planning
didn't even do that.
it. Well, anyway, Nardos
Haggles.
Hagos of the International Planned Parenthood Federation told the Associated Press, quote, "We're going to see more women dying from unsafe abortions."
Which is the point, of course.
Of course. It's not enough that the right has killed American women. They've bled to death in parking lots, emergency rooms, at their houses. They've now decided to target us across the globe. Add that to all of the adults and children dying from AIDS now that Trump has fucked with all the funding for that. And you definitely have the most pro life administration in history, y'all.
And one wonders when are they going to make aid to Israel contingent on making abortion illegal? Because Israel
Because it's
has
legal there, right?
it's legal. It's legal on demand. They don't have restrictions. I mean, I'm sure you can't get it up until like the ninth month, but they don't have restrictions on it. They don't have it's like only after only up to 3 months. They don't do that. It's perfectly normal and legal. So, and we pay Israel. We give Israel billions of dollars a year, and you never hear the pro-life right complaining about that. Whatever could explain that double standard? I wonder.
Well, I don't know. The pro life right is also not complaining about all of the Christians that are being targeted by the
I
far
know
right
it's
Israelis. It's so
so
weird.
weird. I just don't understand it.
Bizarre.
Hmm. Anyway, so in one of the more bizarre stories of the week, and one that definitely indicates we're living in the stupidest timeline, Republicans, including Trump, have begun to threaten and harass Canadians over the wildfires burning in the country. Now, we enjoyed 3 or 4 days of choking on the smoke here. I posted a couple of pictures of that. It was fascinating. It was worse than it was a couple of years ago. It was way worse. Like I walked out onto the balcony and I could taste the smoke, which
Oh,
yeah, last time you could see it. This time I could taste it and smell it. It was like, okay, that's really bad. Now, Trump said he's going to impose a 50% tariff on our northern neighbors because of the smoke. Then that threat infuriated Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who called it rubbish. And he pointed out Canadians had no problem helping Americans when California was burning and said, quote, with all the assets the U.S. has, and he's sitting there complaining, why don't you send up some water bombers? Why don't you start helping us like we helped you in a heartbeat? And he's not wrong, right? This is all bullshit. This is Trump because he's still furious. The Supreme Court told him he can't use tariffs to punish countries that hurt his little fee-fees. The big diaper baby in the Oval Office has been looking for any excuse to reimpose tariffs ever since he was slapped down because he's a big boy and nobody can tell him what he can and can't do. So he's just using this excuse. And in a couple of weeks, he's looking to slap tariffs all over the world again because he doesn't know, like, he can't do anything else. Like, once it gets stuck in his dementia addled brain, he has to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. So here we go again until the Supreme Court steps in and says, we fucking told you no.
yeah.
Can't wait. So
Ridiculous.
excited.
So, this is an update from an item that we discussed last week. The right's attempt to solidify its control over the media has hit a snag.
Womp womp.
On Monday, a federal judge issued a restraining order to pause the Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery merger. The restraining order is related to the antitrust case that we told you about that was brought by 12 Democratic state attorneys general. A hearing will be held on August 3rd to consider a preliminary injunction, and if granted, it could take months to fight the case, which could potentially cost Paramount hundreds of millions of dollars because there's something in their contract that they would have to pay $25 more per share after, or yeah, 25 cents, either 25 cents or $25 more per share after a certain date. Is this a bit of a Hail Mary? Yes. But it could be a very costly one, and Paramount is already on shaky financial ground as a result of taking on enormous amounts of debt to attempt this merger. Any significant delay could prove to be more costly than the billionaire Trump or Ellison family is willing to afford. And wouldn't that just be awful?
It would break my heart. I would shed so many tears. Mwah. All right, so we have the LOL of the week. Of all the things that trigger the oppressed, mediocre, racist white men of America, their underrepresentation in corporate boardrooms, their lack of a voice in Congress, only earning 20% more than women, barely surviving in a country where every law and tradition caters to their specific racial and gender demographic. The thing that causes them the most pain is their inability to dominate pop culture. Now, that actually is a problem for the right, and I've written about it before. The more extreme the right becomes, the less capable of producing art it is. Fascism cannot produce art, it can only consume and destroy art, which is why the right has always despised pop culture. They can censor it when they have the power to destroy people's lives, but when they don't, they have zero influence. And we saw that dynamic play out yet again this weekend as the right loudly demanded a boycott of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, with Elon Musk leading the charge as the head aggrieved white man. They were mad, you see, that Helen of Troy, probably a fictional character, was being played by Lupita Nyong'o, a
Oh,
black
no.
woman. Nyong'o, sorry. She's a black woman. And Achilles was being played by Elliot Page, a trans man. But that's not the character Page was playing at all. He played Sanan, a completely different character. But even if he was playing Achilles, have you seen Elliot Page without a shirt? He is fucking ripped. More than Elon Musk, that fat, sloppy ketamine junkie, has ever been in his entire flabby life. But still, white man rage. Wah! Still, all their screaming and fussing and whining and bitching, the Odyssey blew away all expectations with a massive box office haul of 124.5 million dollars, making it the largest live action opening of the year and the fourth highest R-rated opening ever.
Really?
Yes. The richest man in the history of the world with the largest megaphone was absolutely powerless to impose his will on American culture. That's an important story that should be getting a lot more press, but no one wants to talk about how the emperor has no clothes because they're afraid he'll buy their network and fire them. And that's why the legacy press is fucking worthless. Anyway, this was a long way of saying that Elon Musk and all of his little bootlicking sycophants pissed into the wind and nobody cared because they're losing. So fuck you, fascists. Your day is coming.
Isn't it fun when he gets into it? I put that on there because I knew he was going to love it.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely needed to. I definitely needed to go on that one. I was like,
So on to self-care of the week. I watched the World Cup at my son's apartment on Sunday. It was a lot of fun. It was me, my husband, and both of my boys and his the oldest one's girlfriend. It was a weird match for us because this is like the match that we wanted. We wanted it to be Argentina and Spain because number one, we wanted Messi to win a second World Cup. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But, such is life. Spain dominated Argentina throughout the game. We really like Lamine Yamal, which is the 19-year-old who plays for Spain, and it's so funny because there's this picture of Messi there was a calendar shoot in 2008 or 2009 where like Messi was like bathing a baby Lamine Yamal. Like this picture exists, and then they faced off against each other in the World Cup. Like, how wild is that?
that's funny.
And all of my son was funny because he's a huge Barcelona fan for club soccer, and like half of Spain's team is Barcelona players. And Messi actually used to be a Barcelona player. So
So that must have been bittersweet for him.
I know, that's what I said too. It's like I was like, "Oh, how weird for Messi." He's like, he trained all of these people, which is funny. He's trained like a lot of those players, and then they went on to beat him in the World Cup.
It's like, oh,
He's like,
I
"Oh, I
want to
did
be
it too
mad, but
well."
I'm so proud of you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like it was a really good game. Then I had to spend a lot of time on the internet arguing with people who've never watched soccer in their entire life, but they really wanted Argentina to lose because they said Argentina played too aggressively, but I'm like, "Have you guys ever watched soccer before?" No? So it was fun. We had pizza and wings from this spot in Tampa that was called, now you can relate to this. It was called New York pizza. So I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be like delicious greasy pizza, like the big ones." And there's nothing better than like a big loaded piece of New York
Oh,
pizza that you can fold in half and like eat like a
hell yeah.
taco. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Ugh, it was not that.
Boo.
It was like dry.
What?
I was like, "What did you guys do? Take my grease off
Fake
before?"
advertising, false advertising, false advertising.
Yeah, and their wings were weird. Like not crispy at all. They were just kind of like
Every time
over.
I every time I
uh,
order wings from someplace, that someone's like, make them extra crispy, please, because they half the time they're undercooked. Like they're not
Yeah.
raw, but they're soggy. And I'm like,
Yeah,
wings have
these
to
were
have
like
crunch.
soggy, and they were like, I don't know, it looked like they were boiled first, if that makes sense, because like it was coming.
Ah,
Do you know what I mean? Because it was like the chicken was like kind of falling off of it.
ugh.
I was like, that's weird.
I usually
Um,
throw them in the toaster oven to crisp them up some. It's like,
right. And
sorry,
as a
you guys suck.
buffalo, right, I should have done that. But as a buffalo girl, I was like, ugh, ugh. So, but it was a good time.
Yeah, next time we go to Ocean City, I'm going to take Anastasia to Hooters. One, because she wants to go to Hooters, but also the wings.
No, Hooters does actually have pretty good wings.
I know they have good wings. I've been to Hooters and they have really good wings. And Anastasia just wants to go to Hooters because
I
Anastasia.
I wanted to, so I was gonna get wings from Buffalo Wild Wings, but I'm like, they were so expensive. It was like $45 for 30 wings, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this
Woo!
life?" And then I was like, "Okay, we'll just get them from Wing House because I like Wing House wings," but they were like $48 for 30 wings. So I ended up getting, 2 extra large pizzas, 30 wings, and 6 bread, like the rolls, the garlic garlic, I don't know, garlic bread,
Knots. Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Garlic nuts, yes, there you go. I couldn't think of the name. For like $92. So that wasn't bad though, because it was 2 extra large pizzas. They were huge pizzas and 30 wings. But man, life is expensive these days, huh?
Uh, all right. So on Saturday, we went to go see the live action Moana, and it was fantastic.
Oh, was it good?
Oh my God, it was so good. I know people are a little tired of the live action remakes, and I get it. Not every Disney movie needs a live action remake. Like Snow White was terrible.
Was it bad?
It was. And the sad thing about the Snow White remake is
Well,
that it,
didn't they do something weird with the dwarfs?
yes. And they should have just gotten dwarf actors, and they didn't. Originally the actors were supposed to be just normal people, and they weren't dwarves at all. And then some, like, what's his name
Little
from
people, guys. Sorry.
what's
Little
his name
people.
from
Yeah,
well,
from yeah,
Game of Thrones.
Tyrion.
Yeah,
Tyrion.
he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then
No, he was really mad about it.
well, he should have been. And then they CG'd in dwarfs,
Yeah, that's
and
what I heard.
they did it badly. And it's like, you can get actual people. I mean, not for nothing. Back in the 80s, there was a movie called Time Bandits. And there were, I want to say, at least 6 in that movie. There were 6 of them in that movie, at least 6. And they were fucking amazing. And that was in the 80s when that wasn't really a thing.
Well,
I
look
mean,
at Snow White. Or not Snow White. The Wizard of Oz back in the day.
exactly. Right? It's like you can, I mean most of them didn't do much acting in that movie, but This was an entire movie. The Time Bandits was an entire movie. They were the main actors in that movie, and they were fucking amazing. It's like if you could find them in the 80s, you could absolutely fucking find them now. They could have found 7 people to do these roles, and it would have been fucking amazing. But
Yeah, what a good
no,
opportunity for them too, in a world where there's not many roles for them.
right. And it's like, come on, man. You know they're out there. It's not, I mean, there's plenty of them acting now. Fucking find them. Just what are you doing? So it was just stupid and it wasn't good. And it could have been like you could see the bones of a good movie, but it was just the CG dwarves just ruined it.
Well, you
But
know, my favorite Disney movie of all time is Aladdin. It was the only movie that we owned as a kid, like when we were kids and moved to Florida, so we watched it like 100 times, to the point where to this day I know all of the words to the movie.
I like the remake for that. I like the live action.
But I never watched the live action because I just didn't. I thought it was weird. I just didn't want it.
I enjoyed it, and it fleshed out parts of the storyline that they kind of just skimmed over in the cartoon because it's a cartoon. But I
Right.
enjoyed it. I liked it. The only thing that threw me off a little bit was Robin Williams is Robin Williams.
Well, that's my thing, is that like having Will Smith be the genie. I was like, is it going to be as good?
He did a really good job, but it's hard to fill those shoes. And
Mhm.
I mean, he did a great job, but it's hard to follow Robin Williams because it's Robin Williams. But he still did a really good job. It was really well done. But
So
anyway,
Moana was done well. Was The Rock in the Moana movie?
yeah, I mean, he pretty much played himself, but still, it was really really good, and it was funny because Anastasia was telling me his big scene, right? You're welcome. That song,
You're
people
welcome.
people complained that scene wasn't good, and it was like I'm watching. I was like, my God, this is better than the cartoon version. I like this version better than the cartoon version, and I like the cartoon version. There was
I
nothing about
love the cartoon.
there's nothing about the cartoon version of You're Welcome that I don't like. And
Oh
I
my
like the
god.
live action version better than the cartoon version. So it was like people are insane.
Can I ask you a question? Did they have like a funky chicken?
Yes, the chicken they did not try to make the chicken look realistic. It
Okay,
was
good, 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 good.
yeah, no, the chicken still looked like the chicken still looked like hey, and it did
Okay.
not they did not make it look like a real chicken. They learned that lesson from the Lion King. You
My
have yeah,
goddaughter had she cheered with somebody who looked like that chicken.
yeah, no, the chicken was hilarious. Now, it was just really really good. So I would definitely recommend it. I had a lot of fun with it. Now that evening, Saturday night, we went to go see a local production of the Addams Family musical that Anastasia was part of the crew for.
Oh yeah, I
She
got a
this is
picture of that.
Yeah, she was that was the show she had auditioned for months ago but didn't get in.
Mhm.
But she was on the lights and she's been enjoying doing that immensely. Now, the Addams Family, the musical, that was on Broadway like I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago. It never quite caught on despite winning several awards. It ran for like a year or two and it had been on tour a little bit off and on over the years. And honestly, I can see why it wasn't a huge hit. It's funny and the songs are good, but the songs aren't really super catchy that you'll be humming 6 months later. Still, if you have a chance to see a local production of it, you should definitely go. It's worth an evening out.
What is it again?
The Addams Family.
The Addams. Oh, I love the Addams Family.
Yeah, I mean it's not the storyline from the movies or anything. It's
Yeah, who
like
cares?
its own unique story, and it's very funny and the music's fun, but it's not super super catchy. But we had a lot of fun. So that was our Saturday, and it was like a really good day for us. So yay! So
That's how
that's
I
what
know
we
you're
did.
from New York City, because you watch so many. I don't think I've ever been to a play as an adult or a show.
I mean, you do live in Florida. It's a cultural wasteland.
Yeah, but I live in
Ooh.
Sarasota, which is like known for its theater and stuff. And actually, like FSU, Florida State University, has a huge theater program.
Oh, they should definitely go see that because that's sure it's cheaper than going to see like an official live production. And honestly, sometimes the stuff that you catch, like the local theater, almost as good. Not as good, but
Right, right.
good enough that you're still getting all the flavor of it.
Right,
You
and
know,
you're supporting your local theaters too.
exactly. Not for nothing. We've seen a bunch of shows at Washington Liberty with, Anastasia's high school, and they're fucking amazing. Like sometimes some of the kids are just like, "Ooh, I can see this kid's gonna end up on fucking Broadway someday." Wow, that's a hell of a fucking
Right.
voice. Like the very first show we went to go see was Sweeney Todd,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
when the guy playing Sweeney Todd came out, and we were like, okay, let's see what this is gonna be like. He started singing, and I was with Lila, and me and Lila just looked at each other like, what the
What the fuck?
what the fuck is happening right now? How is that voice coming out of that fucking skinny little kid? It was impressive.
I
Like,
love that.
yeah, I've seen actual Broadway shows where the lead singer was like not on that level. I was like, what is happening here? So that kid graduated last year. We were sad about that. So it was like, God damn it. Anastasia is going to be here for 2 more years and we're not going to have that
Like,
guy
oh
anymore.
my god, our star went. Our
Yeah, I was
star
like,
is gone.
But when he pops up on Broadway someday, it's like, I will go
You're
see
definitely
you.
going to that show, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I can only
I
imagine.
remember when you were a little kid in Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, what's he gonna be like when he's an adult with like a full adult voice? It's like,
Right, with
fuck.
like actual like vocal training, like at the
Uh-huh.
adult level. That's gonna be amazing.
But yeah, so you should definitely go see some, like, just poke around. It's worth it. And I'm sure Nathan would have a field day with some of them. Because even Jordan pays attention to it. Like, all the singing and dancing, it gets his attention.
You're right, because he might like that because he does not really like to sit down and watch movies or television or anything like that. He was really into the Demon Hunters movie.
Right, because it's all moving, it's all motion and
That's
music.
probably what it is. And he really likes Naked and Afraid, but I think that's because he's interested in like survival stuff. Because I don't know whose kid he is.
You know what? Nathan, he would probably get a kick out of Les Mis, because it's history, there's violence, and there's singing.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to check to see maybe if there's production of that around.
Or just start with the movie first, or
Oh, okay.
start with the musical movie. Like there's a movie of the musical, and there's the movie, so one or the other.
All right, I'll definitely check that out. Well, guys, that's it for today's show.
The time is upon us. All right, the Opinionated Ogre podcast. Hold on, let me switch this. Sorry. Okay. The Opinionated Ogre podcast, like the newsletter, is free and 100% supported by you and a dog barking in the background. Our amazing audience. We have no advertisers or sponsors, so please consider becoming a paid subscriber for only $5 a month or just $50 a year.
That was my mother.
I could swear I heard dog barking.
That's my mother.
Well, apologize to your mom. Hi, Mom.
Oh my god.
Anyway, if you would prefer a one-time donation, we still have PayPal and Venmo buttons up for your convenience, and they're right there on the screen. Help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by becoming Help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by sharing the OgPod on the social media platform of your choice and giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. You can find me at the Opinionated Ogre on Substack, Blue Sky, and also on TikTok. Florida Woman, where can our beloved audience find you?
You can find me at Florida Woman Rants on Substack and TikTok.
Woohoo! All right, the next blue wave is coming, and it's getting larger by the day. November 3rd, 2026, just 102 days until we storm the beaches and stomp the Nazis into the dirt. They cannot stop it. Remember, you are never alone. We beat the fascists once, and we will fucking do it again.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you next week.